Welcome back to the best division in football with your boys Awthentik and The Beard, man. I'm feeling real good. Still enjoying victory week, man. 3 days in, it's still feeling great. I tell you what, though, man, this week definitely flew by. Feels like me and The Beard was just doing our week one preview like just a day or two ago, man. And we right back at it. Thursday night football. We got a hell of a matchup tonight, man, with the Chargers headed to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. We're going to break down all the NFC East matchups this week. We got the Commies at the Lions. We got the Bengals at the Cowboys. The Vikings are going to be headed to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. And the Panthers are coming to our house to take on the Giants for our opening home game of the season, man. Y'all know what it is, man. Awthentik and The Beard, the best division in football. Make sure you stay tuned. Tonight, we're going to be giving away some memorabilia to a lucky fan in the chat or a lucky family member in the chat, as I like to say. Y'all know what it is, man. Best television show not on television. Let me bring in my co-host, my brother from another, the strong side to my left side, the antique collector himself, The Beard, one time in the building.
Yo, what's good, man? Listen, I'm hyped. I don't know what it is, but you know there was that thing going around for a couple of years where they was talking about how, like, Thursday night football needs to be gone again, and the games are always bad and this and that. But tonight, we get Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes. So I'm excited. I'm excited for football. You know, we was talking before we went live about getting in on the action. I got some DraftKings lineups. I got some underdog lineups.
Oh yeah,
for like my over and unders. So like I'm excited. I love watching football on Thursday night. Like coming right from the podcast to the football on the couch, it's like nothing better than that.
You know, so and I'll tell you what, like early on in the year, it's even better because you know your team still got a chance to be one of those teams late in the season. You still got hope. Everything's feeling great. You know, maybe week 10 and after, if, you know, we start to see some elimination type games, it might be a little bit more down. But right now, man, week 2 of the season, I'm super hyped too, man. I can't wait for this matchup tonight. Probably, you know, one of my most favorite matchups on a Thursday night football game in a really long time, man. 2 quarterbacks that are probably going to be here for a long time, man. Probably 2 of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. So this should be a fantastic matchup. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, and big shout out to Over the Years Sports, who is the sponsor today for the giveaway. I was wondering, that was what I forgot to ask you, is what card won the poll?
Oh, we should take a look at that. I'll tell you what, last time I looked at the poll, though, the wide receiver was in the lead for it. That I ain't trying to give it away too crazy. Yeah. You feel me, right? Yeah. So I think we should go with the wide receiver. I'll double check as we go live and whatnot just to make sure. But if you don't hear nothing else from me, we're going with the wide receiver.
Sounds good. Shout out to everybody who's watching us right now on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. We appreciate all the love and all the support. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Get the stream out to the YouTube universe. Let's go ahead and say some quick hellos because we got a jam-packed show tonight before Thursday night football. So big shout out to the Independent Outsider in here early with the $5 super chat. Says, you know I'm Big Blue no matter who. That said, Giants interior O-line may have fits against creative and talented D. Not guaranteed to win by any stretch.
I like that. Appreciate you pulling up, Independent Outsider. I see you on Twitter a lot, man. Appreciate you pulling up, and we definitely appreciate that super chat, man. We'll always talk about how that support really helps, you know, lift this channel and raise the bar, as I like to say at the end of every episode, man. So thank you for that again.
And big shout out to Big Dash also in the chat. Been showing a lot of love on the Twitter. We appreciate that, Big Dash. Thank you for the love as always. Lax Ofofo is in the building. What's going on, Lax?
Day one.
Edward Squires is in the building. Adam Costas is in the building.
Hey,
Old Man Rob.
Shout out Rob. What's up? What up,
I ain't
Rob?
see Old Man Rob. Good to see you back, my man. Josh is in the building. We always got to have a little bit of Eagles love when Big Play Slay comes in the building. What's going on, Big Play Slay? Good to see you. Good to see you. I see Word is in the building.
Yes,
got to give a big shout out to Lucas, checking in all the way from Australia. I actually got this shirt from Lucas, so big shout out. Big shout out to Lucas. Appreciate you.
I didn't even see the print and what that was. That's fire right there. Okay.
Yeah, it's the Super Bowl 92 Super Bowl against Buffalo.
Oh yeah, that's dope right there. And we didn't coordinate this tie-dye vibe. It just happened to work out like this. You know what I'm saying?
Just happened to work out. Big shout out to Kevin checking in. One of the commanders holding me down in the chat. Speaking
up,
of
Kev?
Commanders, hold me down in chat. Big shout out to Benny. What's going
Hey,
on,
what
Benny?
up, Benny?
Good to
What's
see you.
poppin',
Good to
boy?
see you.
Good to see you, man.
Mike K is in the building. This is his new channel, 10 or Less, New York Giants. Big shout out to Mike
Ooh,
K.
I like that.
He told us he just started his channel last episode here on Awthentik and The Beard. So big shout out. Make sure everybody goes and checks him out. Appreciate you stopping by. Sink Zappa is in the building. Oh, Kareem Yee.
Kareem Yee back in the building. What's good,
Good
fam?
to
How
see
you living?
Kareem. Fifth String Fling, the Art Law. New name. Good to see you. Thanks for dropping on by and hanging out with us. I see New York Jeff is in the building. What's going on? We got Die Hard Giants fan in the
What up,
building.
Die Hard? How you living, fam? Good to see you in the
Sebastian
chat,
is
fam.
in the building.
Sock Pod
Good to
said,
see
"Mon cher."
everybody here. Our last giveaway winner, Max Webster. Shout out to Max. If you guys didn't see, check him out on Twitter. He's posted a picture of that Tiki Barber game-worn jersey
that was a
card
nice one.
that he won on our last
Max is
giveaway.
in the car on his way back home. I was chatting with him a little bit in the DMs on Twitter, man. So I know he's on his way back to the crib, man. Safe travels. Don't let this heat from Awthentik and The Beard get you in an accident. You know what I'm saying?
And I got to give a big shout out to Stan. Showing some
Yes,
love
sir.
to the
What up,
OGs.
Stan? What up,
and the
Stan?
heavyweights.
We're going to lift them spirits, Stan. We're going to get you right,
Yeah.
dog. I see you still thinking them Giants going to keep losing games. We're going to get you right, my G.
He's dying on that hill. He's dying
He
on
is,
that
he
hill
is.
like it's 2 days in the middle of summer. He's dying on that hill. Big shout out to the heavyweight champion of the world.
Woo.
11-6.
I like that.
Big
11-6
shout out.
vibes,
Appreciate
man.
everybody joining us in the chat. Means a lot to us as always. I'm stoked. We got a jam-packed show today.
We do, man. A lot of games here. A lot to go through, man. So let's start this off proper, man. We're going to get into your squad first, it's looking like. I tried to get a little bit of a different rotation, but this seems to be the rotation that has been working a lot here, man. So let's, without further ado, man, let's start off with your Washington Commanders that are going to be taking on those Detroit Lions one time. This is a great matchup, man. The Lions lost last week to the Eagles, 38-35. The Commanders are coming off an impressive win against the Jaguars, man, where Carson Wentz looked really good in that game. Y'all had the running game clicking, spreading the ball around a whole lot. Love what I saw from the rookie Jahan Dotson in this game, man. Lions quarterback Jared Goff didn't enjoy his best outing versus the Eagles. He was 11 of 23. He's usually efficient. That number kind of scared me a little bit there. He had one touchdown and an extremely costly interception late in that game. DeAndre Swift really showed up and showed out in that game. I like what I saw from him against the Eagles. I want to say it was 144 yards on the ground on 15 carries, man, and a touchdown. He's dealing with an ankle injury coming into this game, so that might yield well for you guys. Aiden Hutchinson was pretty quiet in that game, so we're still waiting on him to see if he's going to fall in category or in line with the Bosas and, the likes of those kind of edge rushers and stuff like that. But let's get right to it, man. I know we don't got a lot of time for this one. Give me the roadmaps. Give me the nuggets. GPS queued up. Which route are we taking for the Commanders to get a win against the Lions here in week 2?
So we're going to start with an appetizer, and the appetizer is going to be a couple of nuggets, and then we're going to give y'all the roadmap. First of all, the Detroit Lions are favored in this game.
I know. He said, first of all.
I'm just going to throw that out there.
That is wild, bro.
Do you know how long it's been since they've been a favorite in a football game?
I'm going to say 6 years.
Oh, that would be really bad. But it's been it's been 24 games since they
Just
were
under 2
favored.
seasons. Okay.
24 games since they've been favored, which is just absolutely crazy. So, obviously there's been a lot of talk around the national media and, I guess bookkeepers as well that that the Washington football team is not who we think they are, or at least I think they are. So we're going to see on the field this Sunday in Detroit. Detroit has won 5 of the last 6 games against the Washington teams. I guess that
Washington teams.
I guess
like
that includes the
Finished
Redskins,
the year
Commanders.
3-3 last year too. So, and with the week 1 loss, so now they're 3-4. But you said how many of the last 4?
5 out of the last 6 games,
Five out of the last
the
6.
Lions have won. Yeah, so that's definitely they got our number. We trying to this is definitely probably a trap game for bettors. Like a lot of people, like that's how it comes
See,
out.
the Lions looked
to
a little
feel.
more impressive in week 1 simply because of the matchup. The Eagles are coming in extremely hyped right now with all the transactions they made in the offseason. And Washington beat a team that last year was the worst team pretty much in the NFL. I believe they had the worst record in the league. Yeah, they made some upgrades. People expect the Jaguars to be better this year, but I think maybe that's why they got the Lions favored in this game.
Yeah, I think that people are expecting the Lions to be better. And I mean, they didn't look awful against Philadelphia. We both think that Philadelphia is probably going to, we picked them to win the division. If you guys haven't seen that, you can go back and check out our stat prediction show. It's our first show of this season. But I mean, people were expecting Detroit to be better. I think a lot of that comes off of Hard Knocks too, But obviously they do have some young talent. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown came right back into the swing of things in the first game. He looks really good. We talked about DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift is a weapon, and DeAndre Swift to me is the scariest player on this offense because of his ability to catch the ball at the backfield. Yep. We already know how our linebackers, in Washington are. So it's like, are they going to be able to keep up with DeAndre Swift coming out the backfield? That's the big question right there. So, you got to keep your eye out on DeAndre Swift. And Washington's run defense wasn't that good when you look at yards per carry. And that's important because you want to make sure that you're setting yourself up defensively to be able to make big stops on third down. They were giving up 6.8 yards per carry in that first game. They gave up 6.8 yards per carry to the Jacksonville Jaguars. That was 30th in the National Football League after the first week. Detroit, on the other hand, was averaging 6.5 yards per carry, which was fourth best in the National Football League after the first week. So that is going to be the big matchup right there, the Detroit running game, because you can't forget about Jamal Williams coming out the backfield also. He can do a little bit of everything
last
also.
Week, I believe, as well.
So they got a nice little tandem between the two of them. And listen, the offensive line for the Detroit Lions is much improved. Their downfall has been and continues to be, it looks like after the first week, their defense. Although Jeff Okudah, who a lot of people might have forgotten about, who was the third overall pick in the 2020 draft, he looked pretty good in that first game. He had a career-high 10 tackles also in that game. So, you definitely want to be aware of where he is on the field, especially if Carson Wentz is going to be on that roller coaster and he, there's a possibility he throws an interception or two. Start Wentzing, yes. But, I mean, talking about Wentz, 4 touchdowns. Nobody else threw more touchdowns in week 1 besides Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes threw 5 touchdowns. Carson Wentz threw 4 touchdowns, and then there's everybody else.
Josh Allen had what, 3 or was it 4?
Josh Allen either had 3 or 2. I think it was 3. Yeah, because Carson Wentz was the only person who had 4 touchdowns, and then he threw for 305 yards, which is the 4th most of any quarterback in week 1. So Carson Wentz definitely, put up some good numbers. It's just about, can we, capitalize and not make the mistakes. Now, rushing-wise, we only ran the ball 28 times. I want to see a little bit more against the Detroit defense that, they were giving up a lot of yards to Philadelphia. I mean, we all know Philadelphia is the number 1 rushing team in the league, but Detroit allowed the 3rd most yards of any team in week 1. They gave up 216 yards on the ground. So as far as my roadmap to victory, it's a little bit simpler in these first couple of weeks, because I need more data to get the longitude and latitude and the latitude and longitude.
The beardisms, the longitudes and the chatitudes. So you're not avoiding highways on this GPS route. We're taking 95 straight. Yeah, and we're gonna get there. Yeah,
unless of course you get to that Bay Bridge traffic and you gotta use Waze to hit that side road. All right, so number 1 on the roadmap to victory for the Washington Commanders is going to be the turnovers, okay? We managed to get away week 1 with 3 turnovers. Yeah. And I've come to the conclusion that I can't just be like, okay, if you want to win the game, you can't have any turnovers. That's just, we're not in reality at that point. So I'm setting the number at 2, okay?
2. As long as you can stay under.
I'll take a push if I get 4 touchdowns out of Carson Wentz. I'll take a push. Okay, but we got to try to keep it below 2 on the turnovers. That's super important. Obviously you'll take some of those interceptions with 4 touchdowns. Obviously timing in the game has a lot to do with things like that. But I definitely want to keep the turnovers that low.
Now I'll tell you what I don't like about the 2 turnovers before you go to your number 2 stop on the roadmap is if you are relying on the running game, I expect less turnovers than that. I think one would be good. 2, if you get the 2, you're going to really have Detroit really on your heels here, and they're going to have a good chance to win this game if they're going to abide by this game plan to run the ball a lot more. Now, last week, Washington, their balance was pretty decent. They
60-40?
passed it 60-40, and I like that. I think that is a good balance. You know, it's a decent way to we're used to Washington running the ball so much, but with a new quarterback like this who can actually do some things, I say you kind of like feel this out. He had 2 turnovers in the first game. I wouldn't mind 60-40 again and see what he does, just to know what you can do moving forward. Kind of reminds me of what Sirianni was doing with the Eagles last year early on, trying to throw the ball, seeing the capabilities of Jalen Hurts and seeing how many can we actually get away with and maybe still win a game. Giants fans know that 3 was too many when they played us that first time around. We ended up beating them 13-7. So I just wanted to bring that up with the roadmap. Just the first stop, when we stop to go get gas, I think maybe it's going to be 1 less turnover.
I mean, listen, I want 0. But we're being optimistically realistic this season, right?
Facts,
I think that's what we're doing. Big shout out to Anthony, the bluegrass picker, for the $5 super chat. Says, listen, insert beardism. Funny, authentic quip. Beard's epic laugh. Thanks, fellas.
He said funny, authentic quip. Hey, dog, that's classic. We appreciate that $5 super chat, Anthony, man. Good looking, bro.
All right. Next stop on the roadmap.
Okay, next stop on the roadmap.
I got a little sidetracked because Mo just texted me that I forgot to send my picks in for the football pool.
Oh, for the pool, right.
Yeah, so I know that you are in contact with him right now.
Yeah, I told them all to come pull up if they wanted to watch the show and whatnot.
Okay, let him know that we're live right now, and I will make sure that I send my picks before kickoff.
Got you.
Okay?
I got
Thank you.
I got you.
So the second roadmap stop is going to be, we just talked about running the football. We got to run the ball. Detroit, like I said, gave up the 3rd most yards allowed last week, and that was 216 yards. So I'm looking for Antonio Gibson by himself, not even throwing in J.D. McKissick. I'm looking for Antonio Gibson to go for over 100 yards just on the ground.
Ooh, I like that. Getting back to his old form.
I would like to see a Antonio Gibson, Saquon-like game. Get close to that 200-yard mark. But no, I just want to see. I want to see over 100 yards because he looked really good running the ball too. I think it was kind of like something that just kind of got pushed to the back because of how well he was catching the ball out of the backfield. But there was this one particular play in week 1 where they were backed up in their own territory, like close to the goal line, and he took it right up the middle, and it was like a 14, 15-yard run, which was huge because that gets you out of that, backed up into your own end zone right there sort of situation. And to be able to do it in between the tackles and to hold on to the football, I think that was a huge run as far as confidence goes that for Antonio Gibson moving forward. So I want to be able to see him get 100 yards on the ground. That would be beneficial to the team. And obviously when you're able to run the ball, it opens up the passing game. And so I think that that's something that, we saw can work in week 1 with Dotson, Samuel, McLaurin, Logan Thomas. The weapons are there, but you got to have some sort of run game to balance it out. I think you were right, though, about the 60-40 being a good balance. As long as you don't get into that 70-30,
right?
Usually that 70-30 means you're either like really behind or you're, just forcing the issue too much. So I want to see Antonio Gibson get at least 100 yards on the ground. Now, 3rd down defense and 3rd down offense. We talk about this every week, and last week, Washington was amazing on 3rd downs. So 3rd down defensively, they had the 5th best 3rd down defense in week 1 in the NFL. They only allowed a 25% conversion rate on 3rd downs to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And offensively, they were the 2nd best team in the National Football League on converting 3rd downs at 70% in that first week. So if you can maintain numbers around there, you're putting yourself into a really good situation because those 3rd downs are what kills drives or keeps drives alive if you're on the defensive side of the ball.
Facts.
So those are huge, stats that I always look at is the 3rd down conversion offensively and defensively. Then, you got to stop DeAndre Swift. You have
Facts.
to. Because
obvious point, too. He's the guy on that team. He is the leader of that team.
Because, out the backfield, running, catching, and our linebackers, you know how our linebackers are. Our linebackers are not the best when it comes to coverage. So I can see, DeAndre Swift out there just cooking if it comes down to it. So you got to be able to contain on the outsides. You got to be able to contain the flats and not like over pursuing the quarterbacks as well.
Alvin Kamara just got traded in my league for Terry McLaurin. Interesting. Let's get this super chat one time before you move on to the next one, too.
Big shout out to Renee for the $10 super chat. Says football is back. Lots of fantasy action tonight. Your show is fire, fellas. Keep it up. Appreciate that, Renee. Shout out. Hail to the W, as my man Paulie would say. And then last but certainly not least is the injury report. Cole Holcomb got hurt in practice today. Talking about linebackers.
How serious?
I have not gotten an update yet. I just know that currently him, Cameron Curl, and Jonathan Allen are all listed as questionable. So those are the injuries. Those are, all three defensive injuries. All three guys that you're going to need if you want to stop Amon-Ra St. Brown, if you want to stop DeAndre Swift. So, don't forget about TJ Hawkinson.
And injury-wise, too, y'all lost that rookie, too.
Yeah, for the season.
His first name. You lost him for the season, too. So you're losing a lot of help on the interior right now, especially if Jonathan Allen can't get out there.
Yeah, so and then you know how a tight end can expose a bad linebacking core, and TJ Hawkinson is no joke. He always kind of flies under the radar, so it's definitely something to keep your eye on right there.
I believe TJ Hawkinson was. Yeah,
sure was. So that's my roadmap. I think, it sounds basic, but there's a lot of things in there that are fundamentally might be basic to a team like Kansas City, Buffalo, the Buccaneers, but to Washington, those things have to be done before you can start thinking about anything else, putting up 40 points or, a defense getting 9 sacks like I used to predict here on Awthentik and The Beard.
Oh, yeah. You got that 7 that one time, I remember.
I did get that 7 that one time. That would be great, fantastic. But I think, like I said, Detroit's offensive line is much improved this year. It's just the defensive side of the ball that's their big question mark. So we have to be able to attack them, and we have to be able to contain DeAndre Swift if we want to have a chance at winning this game. I do think Washington Commanders are going to start the season off at 2-0.
That's what's up. Well, before you make a score prediction, let me give you a couple more points in this game for Washington. I think you might need to add to the GPS. We got a couple stops we got to make. Now, you talked about Amon-Ra St. Brown, and we know he's developing into a major weapon right now. Last week, 8 catches for 64 yards and 1 touchdown. I think him and Jamal Williams are going to have to be the second guy on this team going into Washington here. Or actually, it's in Detroit, but playing against Washington here. But I wanted to bring up a little nugget here about Amon-Ra St. Brown. Most consecutive games with 8+ receptions and a touchdown in NFL history. He's number 1 on that list right now. Behind him was T.J. Houshmandzadeh with 5 in 2007. Behind him was Odell Beckham with 4 in 2014. And behind him is Chris Carter from 1999 with 4. So I think that's a major statistic for a guy who's in his second year, I believe, coming into the league and just causing havoc right now quietly. And I think that has a lot to do with the Detroit market, to be honest, because not a lot of people talking about the Lions, also their previous history with their records. They haven't been a great team, so people not talking about it that much. So I do think your secondary is going to be, in for a surprise here, or tested for sure. And William Jackson last week led y'all with 9 tackles. I thought that was a very interesting stat, because you don't want to see your cornerbacks making a lot of tackles. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, but they're going to have to step it up in this game. Derek Forrest, if Curl's going to be out again, Derek Forrest, we're going to need even a better game, because we talked about this on the recap show on Tuesday. Derek Forrest had a really solid game, and he made some solid plays, but it wasn't consistent all the way throughout. There was some up, there was some down in that game from Derek Forrest, but he's a young guy, second-year player out of Cincinnati, so I'd look for him to, elevate his play actually in this game more than he did last week. We see he's a hitter. We see he can cover. The pass deflections he had last week were incredible. So I do think your secondary is going to be tested. They're probably the group that I'm most worried about in this game. But I like y'all chances, man. I think the Lions came out. They surprised a bit week 1 a little bit against the Eagles, but I don't think they're really a 35-point team. I think the Eagles kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit. I think the Eagles had 0 touchdowns in that fourth quarter against the Lions as well, too, where they scored 14, got back in that game. So for me, it's all about getting that lead early, not taking your foot off the gas. Don't allow an early lead to force you to just try to run the rock and try to drain clock. Apply pressure with Carson Wentz. He looked fantastic week one. Even with the 2 mistakes, the one throw, sometimes you could get away with a throw like that, one-on-one, 10-yard kind of outside route. You know, it was like a 10-yard out, maybe a 10-yard comeback to the outside shoulder where he just missed inside a little bit. So nothing egregious about Carson Wentz interceptions. He looks like, dare I say, that was like the best he's looked in a really long time.
It's one of his best games. It's by far his best game since before his injury when he tore his ACL in his 2017 year, I believe that was. You know what else is interesting? I totally forgot to bring up. This is a matchup between former number 1 and number 2 picks in the NFL draft.
That's what's up.
Jared Goff and Carson Wentz, 2 new teams.
Now was that the same draft?
Same draft, 1 and 2.
Man, time been flying on me. That's crazy. That's a 2016 draft, I believe.
2016 draft, I believe, yep.
Sheesh, man. Time is definitely flying, man. But yeah, that, those points and then the run-pass balance, which I think you talked about a good bit there. I think that's very important. Both of these teams were perfect in the red zone last week, too, so somebody's got to break that as well, too. We got to see one of these teams step up in the red zone. You want to give your score first? Or you want me to go ahead and get mine?
No, go ahead. I'll let you give your score first, since I already told everybody we're going 2-0.
Yeah, I think y'all are going to go 2-0 as well, man. I like the Commanders in this matchup. Shout out to Pierre Garçon, my fellow Haitian brother one time. I know he's a Commander, but that's my fellow Haitian brother. He said it right when y'all won last week's game. He said, man, the Commanders are going to get off to 2-0, and he thanked the schedule gods, which I know both of our teams need to thank this year. So far, looking really good for both of our teams starting off the season. I got the Commanders taking this one. I got them taking this one a little bit kind of like the Jaguars game. Jaguars game was 28-22. I think we'll sprinkle a field goal in there. Joey Sly didn't get a chance to step on the field and show his boot, so I think we got to throw a field goal in there one time. I'm going to go with 2 field goals from Sly, and the Commanders are going to win this one 27-17.
I got 31-21 Washington Commanders. We're going to get that over 48.5 points.
Ooh, 48.5 in that one. I like that.
Yes.
And the Lions are favored by 2 in this matchup, which is definitely a little bit surprising, but I think we got to chalk that up to the week 1 performances and against the opponents that they had in week 1. So we could put the button on this game here, move on to my New York Giants one time.
I think that sounds good. Shout out to everybody in chat. We see you guys, 65 people watching right now. We appreciate the love.
Jeff Scott, 35-28 for them Commanders. I wonder if anybody's picking them Lions.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. We'll see. All right, let's get off into this next one here, man. I'm super excited about this matchup, man. A little bit of a revenge game. We'll get into that a little bit.
They're on the board with 11:16 to go here in the third.
The Panthers are coming to MetLife to take on the newly recharged New York Giants one time, man. We looking like a whole new squad out there one time. But I ain't going to get too excited. The chill bumps is definitely happening at 1-0 for your boy, man. But I'm not going to get too excited about this game. Last week, the Panthers lost to the Browns 26-24 in a really tight matchup, man. And the Giants beat the Titans 21-20. For those of y'all that don't know, me and the Beard, our high school alma mater is the Titans. So we were the Titans for a little bit. That's kind of where we got the left side, strong side vibes from as well. Last meeting, the Giants beat the Panthers 25-3, October 24th, 2021 at home. That was a great defensive performance by the Giants in that game. I remember Logan Ryan had a bunch of standout plays in that game, man. Daniel Jones played a pretty decent game last meeting against the Panthers here. And I wanted to dig into a little bit of the coaching history here too, man. The Panthers are 10-24 under Matt Rule. That is just no bueno, man. They got to find a way to fix that. They've lost 8 straight games going back to last season. That's the longest active streak in the NFL right now.
And they were looking good in the beginning of last year. Remember, there was a lot of hype around them, and they were making those mid-season trades like, we're winning now, and then it just went,
You remember I was one of those guys that was saying that Sam Darnold just needed a new start, and he got that new start. It looked really good the first 3 weeks. The Carolina Panthers started off 3-0 in 2021, and then when CMC went down, man, things just went tragic for them, went a little bit off course, and Sam Darnold was dealing with some injuries as well too. He was banged up late in the season, man, and now you got a new quarterback in Baker Mayfield who he didn't fare that well last week either, man. This dude I don't know what's going on with him in the center over there with the Carolina Panthers, but they had problems on 4 snap exchanges in that game, 4 fumbles. None of them ended up in a turnover, but you got to get that fixed. And Baker Mayfield also had 5 passes batted down at the line of scrimmage by the Browns here, too. So, we got Dexter Lawrence. We got my man Leonard Williams in the middle of that defense. I'm hoping they can get their hands up, make some things happen. Maybe they could take a page out of T.J. Watt's book, maybe jump up, get those hands ready to go for an interception, snag one out of the sky, man. But we know the task at hand here, man. It is to stop Christian McCaffrey, CMC, man. He's going to be the focus for this New York Giants defense, 1,000%, man. And if Carolina can't establish the run with Christian McCaffrey, forget about it, as my man Tudo would say one time, because they're not going to have no chance at winning this game, man. And coaching-wise, I got to look at Matt Rule in this one because CMC only had 14 touches in the loss to the Browns last week, and that's rushing and in the passing game. That is not going to get it done. New York Giants defense, we're going to have to limit the big plays too, man. We saw the big play from Robbie Anderson last week. He had 5 catches for 102 yards, most of that being on that big play where he had 75 yards on that when it was a touchdown in the fourth quarter that got them back in that game. The Carolina Panthers looked a lot like the New York Giants in the first half of that game, man. They were looking pretty bad offensively, couldn't get things going, and then that big play kind of sparked things, kind of like how the big play for us sparked things with Sterling Shepard. Giants defense is also going to have to focus on DJ Moore. I don't got his numbers in front of me, but his numbers first week were not that fantastic. I'm sure they're going to be looking to find a way to make him a little bit more productive in this game plan. And I talked about, go ahead.
He ran a lot of routes. So he ran 100% of the Baker Mayfield dropbacks. DJ Moore ran a route.
Yeah, which you
that's
you
crazy.
do kind of expect that because he's the guy over there in that offense typically. And it seems like maybe that's why they couldn't get things going in the first half,
24% of the targets went to DJ Moore in that first game. 24% target share.
Do you know how many exact targets it was?
I don't have that number in front of me, but I do know it's 24% of the targets went to him, and he ran a route on 100% of Baker Mayfield's dropbacks. So he's somebody that's sneaky. We talked about this a little bit. People that necessarily didn't have first week, reach their expectations as far as numbers go, like a Mike Williams, somebody like that, who it's like they're out there, they're running the routes, they're making the snap counts, but they just didn't have any plays. So DJ Moore is one of those guys where in a blink of an eye, he can get you for 10, 120 and a touchdown.
CeeDee Lamb was another one of those guys, man. He only had 2 receptions on the 11 targets. You definitely right about that. A couple of wide receivers especially didn't play to their maximum capability in week 1, and the Giants got to find a way to limit them. I know DJ Moore is going to be a part of this game plan again. You got to find a way to limit him. Shout out to DJ Moore, went to Maryland. My one of the artists I work with, Chaz French, his uncle is the coach of Maryland. I'm still looking to get to one of those games with that that player discount, that player treatment. I need that player treatment.
That sideline Lanier pass.
Exactly. Camera, action, I need it all. So I need to holler at Chaz about that. But definitely got to limit DJ Moore. And I also think a player to watch on the opposite side of the ball is going to be Leonard Williams, man. Last week he finished with 5 tackles in the opener. He was a big part in stopping Derrick Henry, plugging up holes in the middle of that defense. And Wink Martindale was moving them around a little bit late in that game. I saw a couple of snaps where Dexter Lawrence was lined up kind of outside. I'm like, well, what is going on here, man? So definitely going to have to find a way for Leonard Williams to wreak havoc. I want him to get in the backfield, slow down CMC, but also, and more importantly, I feel you got to get that pressure up the middle when Baker Mayfield's dropping back to pass. And gonna need big games from the edge rushers, man. Right now, I saw something right before we went live from Bleacher Report. Kayvon Thibodeau came out and said he thinks he's gonna play this week. I think that would be amazing for him to get a debut and see what he can really do. That'll be huge for the Giants. We know that Ojulari has struggled with the injury, and I don't know if he's going to be on the field. I haven't heard much about him. He's been limited in practice. But to get Tibbs back would be amazing, man. I know Giants fans are very eager to see what he can do on the field. A lot of fans bought jerseys and stuff like that. And shout out to the homie Cody. I still owe you a jersey. Don't think I forgot. I'm going to definitely send that your way. But, I think they're going to have to find a way on the edge, and not necessarily just pressure on the quarterback. They're going to have to find a way to contain CMC because when you see how CMC does his damage, a lot of it is in zone running schemes outside, not necessarily a guy between the tackles. He reminds me of Saquon Barkley, to be honest, and I'm not talking about that new, improved Jay-Z Saquon Barkley type of vibes. I'm talking about the original Saquon Barkley, 2018, 2019, 2020 vibes. So you got to contain CMC. That's very important. And I also think they're going to have a extra emphasis on stopping the short passing game with CMC too. Got to stop those screens, get those alerts out. Got to stop him on those check downs and those swing passes that we know that the Carolina Panthers are going to be running to him. And also, I think that Leonard Williams can feast in this game. And if Tibbs is going to be out there on the edge as well, because, they got a rookie left tackle over there in Carolina. He was a guy that the New York Giants were interested in pre-draft. A lot of people thought that, Evan Neal wasn't going to be there and we were going to actually have to draft Iquanu. But the Carolina Panthers end up getting him after us. Neal falls to us, which I think was a blessing. And he allowed 2 sacks in that game last week, in week 1. One of them which resulted in a fumble. So if we could get a little bit of that, maybe get a turnover from this defense, that will be absolutely amazing, which brings me to my next point, is forcing turnovers. Even if you don't get to the quarterback and cause a strip sack, just getting the pressure is very important. I think a lot of people like to get hung up on the sack number, but you got to, it's the pressures, man. It's really the pressures. Can you make quarterbacks uncomfortable? And if you can make the quarterback uncomfortable, I think it'll yield well for our safety, for Xavier McKinney. All his 5 interceptions last year were at home. So hopefully he can get his first one of the year here at home against the Carolina Panthers. And it's funny, in my notes, I put Jordan Love. That's funny. Julian Love, ex-Notre Dame alumni. I know that sizes you up one time. Good thing I caught that. You didn't hear his name that much in week 1, and I think that that's actually a good thing. When it comes to secondary, when it's quiet, that's actually a really good thing. That means that running backs aren't getting to that third level that much, and, your safeties aren't having to be out there making tackles, and that means he's not getting burnt toast and coffee time. Shout out to the homie Donnie Simpson one time. But, the main thing as far as the Giants go is going to come on offense again, and we know it's Saquon Barkley, man. 164 yards last week, 6 receptions, 30 yards, 9.1 per carry. What was that big nugget that you had? He led us in what categories?
He led you guys in routes run, snaps, targets. I mean, it was pretty much everything and anything.
I love to see that because Saquon Barkley looks like a rejuvenated player this year, man. And shout out to the New York Giants for when they released this the sights and sounds of the game on Sunday. It was no holds bar, man. Like the way that the players were talking on the sidelines and the coaches, he was like, "You that." I can't say that word on this show, but we know what he was saying. Yeah, you that one. You definitely that one. And Saquon was running back to the sidelines. I put a little bit of it in that clip where he was just saying, like, yeah, I am that. I am that. And that's exactly the kind of guy I want to see. It's like he was angry. And I like that.
Yes.
He was playing with a chip on his shoulder. Hungry. He was super hungry, man. You talked about that on Tuesday, man. Like, you just see this guy who's, like, out to prove it to himself. I think more importantly than proving it to the fans. Because and we know in the New York Giants community, there are some fans ragging on Saquon for sure. And I think he's taking it a little bit personally, and some of the shots are personal. I won't get into it, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of these shots are definitely personal that people are taking at Saquon Barkley. But he had a great game last week, man. And the Panthers, they didn't do too well against the run last week. Against Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, man, they allowed 217 yards on the ground, 5.6 yards per clip. So
31st in the National Football League.
I'm surprised that's 31st. Who was the worst? Maybe who we went against. Maybe it was the
Titans because the Giants have the number 1 rushing offense in the National Football League after the first week of the season.
You love to hear it, man. You love to hear it. That's why the beard is the strong side, man. Letting me know what's good. I love that. You love to hear it, man. And Barkley's 164 yards rushing and 194 total yards from scrimmage were definitely league highs. That was definitely one of my next notes. He had success against the Panthers last time. I wanted to bring that up, too. Barkley had 129 yards from scrimmage last time we played them, 81 receiving, 48 rushing, and he caught 2 touchdowns in his only career game against the Carolina Panthers. That was in 2018. So, yeah, I'm looking for Saquon Barkley to do a little bit more of that. And this was a straight nugget right here that I read. And I was very surprised to see this. And I think this just goes to show you how teams are sleeping on Saquon Barkley. He faced the least amount of loaded boxes of any running back in week 1. Now, the Titans must be crazy. They must be smoking some serious Saquon pack. Ain't that a nugget?
That's crazy.
Ridiculous, man. I thought that was crazy, man. In the NFL.com matchup, they talked about that a lot on their page today, man. So I'd expect the Panthers to stack the box at least a little bit more. I don't think they're going to, go all out and give me the engage 8 and blitz everybody, but I do think they're going to stack the box a little bit more in this game and try to force Daniel Jones to beat them. And I'm hoping that Daniel Jones has a bigger game this week. Granted, last week was really good, 115 passer rating. I won't say it was really good. I'll say he played a solid game. He did make the big mistake.
A winnable game.
Yeah, he was playing winning football, as we like to say here on Awthentik and The Beard. And, one thing I forgot to bring up last week, or not last week, but on Tuesday when we did the recap was I didn't talk enough about the muffed punt from the Titans and not capitalizing
That was a huge opportunity right there.
That was a huge opportunity, man. We were on like their 12-yard line or something like that. and Daniel Jones throws the interception. Now, in this game against the Panthers, we got to eliminate those kind of mistakes. And not only eliminate those mistakes, but after you get a turn and play like that with a muff punt, you got to capitalize in the red zone. I saw a lot of people dogging Daniel Jones this week, and I told them just pump the brakes. But they were mentioning, this is one of the worst quarterbacks in the red zone in the NFL. And I think he's got a lot to prove. I think Daniel Jones needs to prove that to the fans, like that he can do things in the red zone. A lot of people also brought up the fact that they would run, some read options on third down, and he would just come up just short, sliding just short of the sticks. It happened to him twice in that game. Now, I do want Daniel Jones to protect himself. I think that is the number one thing. Live to see another down is very important. But at the same time, man, if you got to go out there, make a play to try to get an extra yard. I'm not saying lower your head like you did in Dallas last year, but try to find a way to get these yards. Daniel I think he runs straight so much because his straight line speed is one of his advantages, but one of his major weaknesses is moving left to right, man. His lateral movement is awful, and I think that's why you don't see, those cheap little Ryan Tannehill jukes. You know how these quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes does it. Daniel Jones is probably much faster than Patrick Mahomes. But Patrick Mahomes, man, he'll get near that sideline, start doing these cheap little shifty moves. Like, hey,
Daniel Jones' shoulder pads are too big for that.
You might be right about that, man. He's wearing them 1980s
he got those Mark Brunell shoulder pads.
Yeah, with the sleeves, cut loose and whatnot, man. You need to tighten that up a little bit, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I'm looking for Daniel Jones to really have a big statement game here against Carolina. And if you see the Daniel Jones that we're accustomed to seeing, not really putting a nail in the coffin, as I like to say here on this show, when he gets the opportunities to do so, I think that we're going to be in store for a little bit of that normal Daniel Jones that we've seen in the past couple years, and we're not going to see an elevated kid at the helm this year. But we'll see, man. Jones was sacked 5 times last week, man. 8 quarterback hits. They got to find a way to get, this kid upright.
They got some
guys.
A lot of
it's on him, too.
They got some guys in Carolina, too, that can get after the quarterback. So that's definitely something you got to be careful of. Because
they do, but I'll tell you what. First week, it did not show up for the Carolina Panthers. Jacoby Brissett, he was only sacked 1 time last week. 4 quarterback hits. The dude, I don't have the number here. He threw it over 50 times in that game, I think.
Who did?
Jacoby Brissett. I want to say his number. It was definitely around 40. I want to say. I'm trying to wing it off the top. I can't remember. If somebody in the chat can give me that exact number. All I remember was that he dropped back a ton in that game, and he only was sacked 1 time. So to me, that's crazy. An interesting stat. And you know what? We could take the time to look it up real quick.
Because it's interesting that you say that, because I know that he only threw for like 138 yards, I think, something like that, in that game.
Yeah, I know the yardage was definitely down.
And that's something that, for the New York Giants, that they got to kind of.
So I sized it a little bit. He threw it 34 times and only had 147 yards.
That's close to 40, though.
Yeah, close to 40. Now, only being sacked 1 time in that game and 4 quarterback hits. I know that the Browns' offensive line is pretty solid, though, so we got to take that with a grain of salt. We know the Giants are still trying to figure out things, what they're going to do at the left guard position and whatnot. They're still in a rotation there with Izidu and Ben Bredeson. So our line is definitely not of the caliber of the Cleveland Browns. But when you look at the Cleveland Browns roster and you look at how they beat the Panthers and whatnot, to me, they don't got that many weapons at the wide receiver position. At quarterback with Jacoby Brissett, it's a massive downgrade from going from Deshaun Watson. So for me, it's like this is a very similar matchup, and I think we can beat them. It made me think that the Browns and the Titans both are going to take a step back this year. And I know the Browns were not a playoff team last year.
They were borderline, though.
They were borderline, though, and the Titans were a number 1 seed. So I think both those teams take a step back in this game. But, yeah, I think it's going to rely on us getting more pressure on their quarterback than they get on ours, and also controlling the clock. I'm anxious to see if the Browns are going to stack the box in this game crazy and just say, you know what, Saquon is not going to beat us. I saw what's my man who had cancer that was the coach for the Colts about 2 or 3 years ago?
Chuck Pagano.
He did a segment on tonight's game where he was acting as if he was the coach. This was on Pat McAfee's show earlier, man. Shout out to Pat McAfee. They're doing great things over there. I love that show. I think Pat McAfee is creating a wave for content creators to because there's a difference between content creation and being an analyst. Yep. If you're an analyst, you got to have those numbers down. Everything's got to be pat. There's no room for any flaws, no mistakes like that. You see Stephen A. made that massive mistake the other day on his show where he picked He picked the Chargers to score the most points in week 1, but then he picked them to lose to the Raiders. Like, you can't do that kind of stuff when you are an analyst. When you're a content creator, I can say, hey, Jacoby Brissett threw the ball 50 times. In reality, he threw it 34. It's all good, right? So I love Pat McAfee and them for that. They're creating this lane for us. But, yeah, man, I just think this matchup is going to be extremely interesting, man. I like our chances, man. I saw a lot of people on Twitter, very down on the Giants. Hey, man, don't get too all hype about the win against the Titans and yada, yada, yada. But I do think it's going to be, man, like, yo, if they stack that box and go crazy, like that's the point I wanted to make about Chuck Pagano. He was talking about you got to take away the Chiefs' #1 guy. You have to take away Kelsey. That once you do that, then you can figure out what else you're going to do. And I think that maybe the Panthers approach this pretty similar. They might approach this like, hey, let's just stop Saquon. He won them the game. It's clear as day that Saquon Barkley won us that game. And I think they might come with an approach where it's like, hey, you see a lot of 7, 8 men in the box pretty much on a lot of downs here. But
so with me, it's easy to talk about Christian McCaffrey and stopping him, right? But the pass defense for the Giants was a little interesting when I started looking into the yards per attempt. They were giving up 7 yards per an attempt, which is the 5th most in the National Football League after the first week. And Carolina had the 9th best yards per an attempt at 6.7 yards per attempt. So, when you get into those, if you look at that, you're setting up, easy third down conversion yardage, or you're setting yourself up for converting third downs if you're getting 6-7 yards, after the first couple of plays.
And,
so
and
that's
a lot
sort
of that
sneaky.
was on them linebackers for the New York Giants too, man. Tay Crowder, he's going to have to step it up in this game in coverage, man. There was multiple times there he was getting beat. And then I know all Giants fans definitely got their eyes on Darnay Holmes. Darnay Holmes, I forget the slot wide receiver for the Tennessee Titans, man, but he was cooking.
He was they're talking about the little mini Julian Edelman, Richie,
little fake Humphreys,
something like that. I listen. I know them all. I know him.
Yeah, I definitely didn't know him, but he was the one wide receiver coming back from the Tennessee Titans who got reps in the starting lineup last year. So I think that it was a chemistry thing with Ryan Tannehill, relying on a wide receiver that he was comfortable with, because we know Robert Woods is newly added to that roster. And then the rookie Treylon Burks, and coming off injury, But I thought Robert Woods played a pretty decent game, and he looked healthy. It was good to see him back out there on the field making some plays. I think he only had like 2 catches, though.
Big shout out to Stephen Lilly for the £2 super chat. He says, woo ha woo, but I think it's more like a choo 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 choo. Number 26, Barkley train. Doors opening on your left-hand side, running all over you. Shout out, Stephen
that.
Lilly.
I might have to steal that for a sound effect. Doors opening. I'll be over here on the Metro in D.C., man.
Oh, man. Giant Station. Doors opening on your left-hand side.
Appreciate
Big
that,
shout
man.
out to Lax044 for the $4.99 super chat. Says, I'm hopeful that the left guards were just bullied by Simmons, who is a Pro Bowl defensive tackle. I hope they really aren't as bad as they were last week.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Lax. We saw some good out of Ezedu on the big run from Saquon Barkley. He had a big block. Shout out to Kyle Pizzle, man. I don't want to let the, I don't want to, not even the cow the bag. I don't want to snitch. For the YouTube police, right? But he did something for the first time on his channel last night where he was watching portions of the game, I'll say, okay? And it was awesome, man. I definitely, if you're not subbed up to him, go sub to Kyle Pizzle strictly off the strength of just that show that he's about to do. And it was his first time doing it. He said he might not do it like a lot more, but he's thinking about it. I hope he continues to do it, man, because it was a super chill session where we were just able to see, like, the details of plays, and with people in the chat. And I know, like, when you look at tape sometimes by yourself, it's extremely boring. Like, just sitting there looking at tape by yourself, it's extremely boring, and I have, like, an opinion to bounce it off of. So what Kyle Pizzle did last night with that, I'm a big fan of it, and I hope he keeps doing that. I'm going to definitely be tuning into that. And it showed a lot of that, Ezedu and what they were doing to left guard with Ben Bredeson. Yeah, they were definitely getting beat a lot, and there was good things, but there was a lot of bad, and I'm with you on that, Lax. We got to clean that up for sure.
Shout out to Awthentik, though. I'm pretty sure he did go 4-0 last week.
Did I?
I think so.
Yeah, picked y'all, picked us, picked the Eagles.
Oh, you might have gone. Oh, okay.
3-1. Did I pick? Oh,
you went
Bengals?
4. I think you.
I
think you went 5-0 because you picked.
I picked the Bills,
Buffalo,
and then I picked the Bucks to beat the Cowboys.
Yep.
Choo.
I went 4-1. I didn't pick
You know what I'm
the
saying?
Giants.
Yeah, that wasn't smart. You was tripping. Giants Nation in the building. Y'all know what it is, man. So let's go ahead and get a score prediction for this one, man. I think I got it all covered there. I think you brought in some good points on that one. You want to get the score first? You want me to go?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. Since I didn't pick the Giants to win last week, I'm going to pick you guys to win this week. I like the New York Giants to start the season 2-0.
Ooh.
That sounds like, would you imagine ever hearing that like 6 months ago? I don't think so. But
No,
2-0 for the New York Giants after a 21-17 victory over the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, I really like your score too because this is a very similar Carolina Panthers team as it was last year, and I feel like with the New York Giants, it's a very similar team as well. We're still wondering what the offense can do, but we got Brian Dable at the helm now calling plays, or Kafka calling plays, but we got the philosophy coming from my man Brian Dable. So it's a new vibe here, and we got a new vibe with the defense with Wink. But I think that the Carolina Panthers are pretty much the same team. Now, we did beat them pretty convincingly last year, 25-3. I don't think it'll be that convincing. Both of these teams kind of snuck their way into close competitive games in the second half in week one. I think the Giants made a lot of mistakes in the first half, and the Tennessee Titans are more to blame why we got the W in that game over the New York Giants actually making plays, because we've seen it. Saquon Barkley can make plays like this and have big games, and the Giants still lose. Let's not forget in 2018, I think the Giants only won 5 games with Saquon and Odell Beckham back there. So, for me, it's like Saquon Barkley is not going to be just the only thing clicking that'll get us to a victory here. We're going to need somebody else to step up. And a couple of things I actually didn't talk about in this matchup is Kadarius Toney's back on the injury report. So for everyone who was skeptical about what's going on with him, he's back on the injury report with a hamstring injury. Don't forget we lost Aaron Robinson at the cornerback position for this game because he had to have his appendix taken out or something like that. So we're missing him. Hopefully we can get Tibbs back, man, because the injury bug is still lingering here in New York just a little bit. We're still trying to get over this. I would call it a pandemic of its own with New York with the injuries, and we're trying to get over that just a little bit. So for me, I am going to take the Giants in this game because I feel like, hey, the slate is clean. We won last week. What more of a better time to be optimistic about the New York Giants going into a game like this? Daniel Jones played game management type of football week one. I'm hoping to see him step it up in this game and maybe make some more big plays, and let's see what that arm can do in this game for real. I'm taking the Giants in this one, man, and I'm going to go 24-17 New York Giants. You said 21-17, right?
21-17. And I would imagine that stadium's going to be pretty lit after that 1-0 start. I think that's going to be something that's to keep your eye on too, is to, there's a lot of excitement. As much as there is, sometimes it's hard to think about the bigger picture when you're, you see some of the fan base and the way that they talk and react on Twitter. But in the bigger picture, the grand scheme of things, I think there are a lot of people that are excited off of that victory, seeing Saquon play the way that he did, seeing the new coaching staff, new GM, Daniel Jones not necessarily, losing the game on his own. So I think that those are the sort of things that, from a fan base, it's very similar to what we're going through here in Washington. We're super excited. We have some new weapons, some new name, and all this new stuff. After you go through all these years of losing, to have those sort of things it's like those small steps towards getting back to where our franchises once were.
You can feel it, and I think Washington has kind of had it for a little bit longer than us, because even last year and the year before that, you guys weren't great record-wise and whatnot, but I always felt like you guys were on the cusp. A lot of fans would probably say y'all were just a quarterback away, but I always felt you did need another weapon. I love Jahan Dotson, the addition of him, and I think it helps Curtis Samuel a little bit there too. So, yeah, I mean, we're making that turn, I hope. I don't want to get too excited about the season. I still got us at 6 to 8 wins right now, but winning this game, that's going to let Giants fans know that we can win some of these games that we're supposed to win that are on the schedule. And I wanted to bring attention to just a couple of comments in the chat one time. One of them was a fantasy question that somebody had for us over there on Twitch.
That's Simon Cowell. Simon Cowell checking in from Twitch today instead of YouTube. Wants to know Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow. I have Jamar Chase, and I know it's good to stack the quarterback and receiver. I'm going Joe Burrow against the Dallas Cowboys. That defense didn't look really good, and I mean, I know Justin Herbert has been lighting it up, but I don't know. Joe Burrow needs a bounce-back game, and Jamar Chase, I'm taking the stack. Give me Burrow in this instance.
Ooh, that's tough. Now, I was telling the Beard, man, when it's Thursday night football, I like to just start a player on the lineup just so I got somebody on the first game of the week, right? Don't fall for that here, I don't think. I think you got to go Joe Burrow here. 4 interceptions, man, first week. That was looking awful. Looking like one of the better stacks in the NFL when you talk about Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, and to come out and have, I think it was 5 turnovers total. I think he fumbled the ball once too. So,
yeah,
I mean,
5 total turnovers.
He's got to bounce back. I don't know if that Cowboys defense is the one to do it. I mean, they just limited Tom Brady to 19 points in an ugly, ugly game. Micah Parsons is definitely going to be getting after the quarterback. He had 2 sacks in the game. Diggs got cooked by Mike Evans on that fade route. It was a great one-handed catch by Mike Evans, too. I don't want you to be running around telling people Authentic and the Beard are giving you bad advice. I'm going Justin Herbert, just so there's a split there. One of us can get this right. I'm going Justin Herbert. I think he's going to have a big game here, man. I think that the Kansas City Chiefs defense is more susceptible to allowing points and big plays over the Dallas Cowboys defense, who held their own against Tom Brady and the Bucs.
Big shout out from Twitch. Appreciate it.
And then my man NYG Mason one time, he says 35-17 Giants. I think that's a little bit high, but man, I hope you're right one time. I really hope you're right on that, definitely. And then I wanted to bring up this point too right here before we move on from this game from 10 or less NYG. I think you will see more defensive snaps with Love in the box this week. I imagine they would use a safety or slot corner to help with CMC out of the backfield. Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. And they're going to have to figure out something at that nickel corner, because Aaron Robinson's going to be out of this game. So what are we doing at that cornerback too? Are we moving Darnay Holmes out there? Who are we going to bring in? Cordell Flott? You know, what's going to happen here? I know that Julian Love can actually play some corner too. Is there going to be a little rotation? I haven't seen him at corner all year, but just, you know, winging it here, just maybe there's some possibilities. I don't know what they're going to do at cornerback two. And Giants are accustomed to having cornerback two be one of our weaker spots on the defense. So without, Aaron Robinson in this game, it's going to be tough. And a lot of Giants fans were ragging on him, too, out of preseason, because he was getting cooked a little bit, but he had a hell of a game. He was stepping up in the run, making big tackles on Henry, and I think we're definitely going to miss him in this game. I hope they don't try to exploit that, but we'll see what happens there in that one.
Big shout-outs to Chris Callith for the $5 super chat. Says, Saquon has the maturity and professionalism to succeed in the New York City market, which can't be taught. That should be a reason for a contract extension.
Not enough people talk about that, man. Yeah, Saquon Barkley has been a guy who's been pretty much rock solid with the media. I know last year a lot of people were talking about him showing his frustrations and his feelings on his sleeve a lot in the press conferences, but that can happen when you're losing a lot of games. But I agree with you on this one, Chris. That's a great point, man. And thank you for that $5 super chat, man. That means a lot to the channel. All right, let's get to this quick read real quick, and then we're going to get into a little bit of trivia, and we're going to give something away on the channel. I know you guys are really excited about that one time. Manscaped, we're gonna put a little authentic backdrop to this one time. You know what it is one time. Support for Authentic and the Beard, the best division in football, is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Bars one time. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer to you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code AATB at manscaped.com. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code AATB. That's 20% off. Free shipping worldwide. If you're over there somewhere in, Zimbabwe, I don't know where you might be, you get free shipping on them Manscaped vibes one time. AATB is the code. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Now, Manscaped, I think y'all being a little bit too frivolous with this sponsorship here, man. I've been seeing everybody and their mama in the football community with this Manscaped sponsor now. We're going to need a little exclusivity. You know what I'm saying? I need the player discount over here at Authentic and the Beard. Y'all know what it is, man. But shout out to Manscaped for sponsoring the vibes over here at Authentic and the Beard, the best division in football. All right, so we are going to take a quick commercial break and come back with a hell of a trivia question here. And somebody is going to win either a piece of memorabilia from the New York Giants. You see how I almost, right? Or a piece of memorabilia for those Washington Commanders. Stay tuned. We'll be right back in a second. Y'all know what it is, man. Check us out every Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Parlay. I saw a little smoke cloud over there, The Beard. I thought you was hitting some gas or something for a second. I was like, wow. But y'all know what it is, man. Definitely check us out on the Parlay, man. That's going to be a good vibe. Last show for the Parlay was really good, man. We had some big games, too, man. I called that Pittsburgh Steelers upset one time. I forget which one you called.
I got close in the Houston Colts game,
Yeah, they played well, though, man. The Texans definitely played really well. I should have thought about that when I was doing some things for my fantasy because I think it's Melvin Gordon that's going up against the Houston Texans this week. I was a little bit excited thinking, the Texans of old, but they look pretty good week one.
They did. And I'm still hoping for that over 4.5 wins for the Houston Texans because I preached it very loud to everybody that would listen.
I think they'll get over that. They look like a much improved team, and I think a lot of people are sleeping on Davis Mills. But Davis Mills is a good quarterback, man. He's been playing well, and can't forget he was drafted extremely late, so he's not costing them a lot of money over there. I know a lot of people want them to draft a quarterback, but we'll see, man. I like Davis Mills so far, though. He's been doing his thing.
Indeed, he is. He looks like he's the guy. I mean, they had a chance to take a quarterback in the last draft, and they didn't. I've been talking about Davis Mills for a while. Nico Collins, Brandon Cooks. Wait till they get Michi back next year when hopefully he recovers from leukemia. And, they got some pieces. O.J. Howard looked crazy in that game. 2 touchdowns.
Man, I was saying we should have signed that kid, man. I'm surprised that it took a while to get him. And who was he cut by again? I forget who cut him.
Buffalo.
Buffalo cut him. That's right. They do got Dawson Knox over there, but you would think they would keep some depth over there. I mean, it's kind of interesting. All right, well, shout out to Dan one time in the building. He's right about this. DC definitely got some cool head shops. We got a bunch like on the low, great delivery services out here and all that, man. I love it out here in DC as far as that goes for the 420 vibes one time. All right, somebody's gonna win something really nice here, man. I'm excited for this, and let's win some music, yeah.
Are we gonna do that? If we're gonna do that, can
jazz flutes? That's not in here no more. I removed that one. It's not matching them vibes no more. We're not. Yeah. This ain't. We was making our graphics on Paint for season 2, and now we're making our graphics on the big boy stuff. You know what it is.
This is forever one of the best songs though on Awthentik.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. And this, a little nugget about this song. The guy who created this song, like 15 years ago, he made a bunch of music that was royalty free for YouTube, and he became a millionaire off all those songs that he put out there royalty free. There's a piece of it on a documentary on Netflix that I saw the other day, man. I was super hyped. All right, so here we go, man. We got one trivia question tonight for one lucky winner. If you're a Commanders fan, we got something real nice for you. If you're a Giants fan, we got something real nice for you. If you're a fan of neither, do we got something real nice for you?
Yeah, I got something. I always got something up my sleeve if you're a Cowboys fan or an Eagles fan.
Got you. Make sure you hit us up either on Twitter or you can hit us up at Awthentik@allornothingstudios.com and an email. Let us know where we need to ship this item once you win this item. All right, let's get to it.
Here we go.
Let's see where this is
Trivia
at.
time.
Trivia time. I forgot about that. Shout out to Scotty Booms one time, man. He was our trivia host for a long time, man. Hope he's doing well one time. All right, let me get this cooking and ready here. All right, chat, y'all ready? Let me see some biceps in the chat if you ready. It's 8:04. We got 3 games to go. We could knock that out in 10 minutes. Let me see some biceps in the chat one time if you're ready to win this trivia prize one time. It's a beauty, too, if you're a New York Giants fan. You're going to love this one. You're going to love this one. All right, here we go, y'all. So, I'm looking for it, Beard. Here it is.
It's the first person in our chat too. Remember that. It might look different than what you see on your end, so make sure you have your chat on live chat and not top chat because the internet lag may look different on your end than our end.
YouTube defaulting to top chat is ridiculous, bro. They need to get rid of that. And to give y'all enough time, I'm gonna bring back the trivia of jazz flute vibes one time. We was kind of running out of time on the trivia vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like, can't play the Jeopardy music before you get a question. All right, here we go, y'all. I hope y'all ready in the chat, man. The first one that we see over here on our end is gonna win this prize. This is a NFC East based question. How many total Super Bowls have been lost by the NFC East division? Give y'all a little bit of time to populate y'all answers, and let's see who gets this one first, The Beard. What if Max Webster goes back-to-back on this? Let's see if Max can go back-to-back one time on his straight vibes. Still not seeing the right answer quite yet.
3. Whoa, they're coming in.
They're coming in hot. Shout out to the chat one time. Rick Buck, you a wild man. And
Looks
we
like-
got a winner. I hope it's the same one you seeing over there, the beard.
Do you?
He guessed like 2 or 3 times. Let me see. Oh, I thought I saw it. Let me make sure.
I see who the first one is.
Oh yeah, I see it. Is the first one? It starts with a number.
No.
Oh, the name don't start with a number. Oh, it don't. Is it an OG day one?
It is.
It's an OG day one in the building. My man Lax in the building.
Fo with the correct answer. It is 8 total Super Bowls that have been lost by the NFC East division.
3 by them Cowbums, 2 by the Washington Commanders, Washington Redskins, Washington football team, Washington team formerly known as, and 2 by those Philadelphia Eagles one time. New York Giants only lost 1 Super Bowl. Y'all know what it is, man. The best team in the best division in football, the NFC East, them New York Giants. Let's show my man Lax what he's going to win and get shipped to his crib.
Wide receiver, right?
We're going wide receiver.
It is a Hakeem Nicks die-cut card jersey patch. This is a game-worn patch. It is actually serial numbered 34 out of 99. So there's only 99 of these cards out there. It is a super sick Hakeem Nicks game-worn patch card numbered to 99. Shout out to Lax O Fo. You are the winner. Winner. Hakeem Nicks dinner.
Hakeem Nicks dinner. That's giving me over the years vibes, man. I like how you did that, man. That was awesome, man. That was awesome.
But yeah, just reach out to me on Twitter, and I can actually get that shipped out to you tomorrow if you reach out to me tonight and give me your address.
That's what's up, man. Shout out to the Beard and Over the Years Sports for sponsoring that segment here. We're going to be doing that pretty much every Thursday, giving away something real nice for Giants fans or something real nice for Washington Commanders fans. And according to the Beard, even if you're not a fan of either of those teams, we're going to figure something out. Got you covered, man. That's what's good, man. All right, so we got about a good 12 minutes here, and we got to run through 3 games. Let me see where on the docket I am. Okay, so we're starting with that one. Okay, let's get into this next game one more time here over at Awthentik and The Beard. Left side.
Strong side.
Y'all know what it is. The Bengals are headed to Jerry World to take on them Dallas Cowboys one time, man. Dallas Cowboys, man, last week looked real sketchy. We know they lost Dak Prescott for a bunch of games here. Jerry Jones came out and said he'll be back in 4 games. I mean, I guess he knows how Dak feels, right? That's kind of crazy. But the Bengals lost to the Steelers, man, in a heartbreaker, 23-20 in overtime. The Cowboys lost to the Bucs, 19-3. And they also lost Dak to that thumb injury, man. The last meeting between these two teams, the Cowboys beat the Bengals. They mollywopped them 30-7 on December 13th, 2020. That game was in Cincinnati, man. And I think the first thing to talk about this game is the turnover differential, man. The Bengals now are -5 with Joe Burrow out here playing sloppy football, doing his best Daniel Jones impersonation from 2019, losing the ball. Maybe a little Carson Wentz with those interceptions as well from 2020. Speaking of 2020, the Cowboys were the only team that did not score a touchdown in week 1. Good God. I know y'all Cowboys fans is sick right now to y'all stomach. Y'all know what it is, man. We are totally cool with y'all taking L's all day in the NFC East, man. Bring them on, okay? Joe Burrow struggled, man, and I think this was the one I had a little bit mistaken with the Jacoby Brissett stat. Joe Burrow was 33 of 53 in that game, man, 338 yards. Jamar Chase is a damn dog. That dude, I feel like if Joe Burrow didn't have Jamar Chase, his numbers wouldn't be looking so fantastic as of last year, and you probably wouldn't have had a Super Bowl run. I'm going to keep it funky with you one time. He had 2 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, man. Now, we know for the Cowboys, they got Cooper Rush coming in at quarterback here. I know people aren't excited about that except the opposing defenses. Cooper Rush in his last outing, when we saw him against the Minnesota Vikings, though, he did get a victory against Minnesota in a shocker. When Dak went out, I believe that was last season. He was 24-40 for 325 yards with 2 touchdowns and an interception. 92 passer rating against the Vikings, and yes, I can confirm that was last season. Both of these teams have major offensive line issues. The Bengals gave up 7 sacks, while the Cowboys allowed 4 sacks and 8 quarterback hits on Dak Prescott and Cooper Rush. Micah Parsons had the 2 sacks in the opener. That gives him 15 sacks in his first 17 games of his career. That guy is going off. For me, the Cowboys are going to need CeeDee Lamb to step up in this game. We talked about this a little earlier, man. 11 targets, 2 receptions, man. That is just terrible for a guy you expect to jump into the number 1 wide receiver role. Shout out to the homies Vach Lombardi and my homies Steele over there. Great production. They're over there on Colin Coward's network. I believe it's called The Volume. Doing fantastic things. Make sure to go subscribe to them, man. Like, that's where I'm getting a lot of my Cowboys information these days, man. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet, man. I think the key matchup in this one's going to be Jamar Chase versus Trayvon Diggs. Chase had a strong start with the 10 catches for 129 yards and a touchdown versus the Steelers. I talked about Diggs getting burnt by your boy Mike Evans on that touchdown. It's the first time Diggs didn't have an interception after having at least one in his first 6 games last season, or dating back to last season. He had 11 last season. And I think Joe Mixon's going to have to get it together, man. They committed to that run last game with Joe Burrow struggling. He had 27 carries, 82 yards in that game. But it's his lowest average yards per carry when breaching 25 carries. He was at 3.04 yards per carry. He's had 10 games where he's over 25 carries in his career, and that was his worst one. So I'd look for Joe Mixon. He's on my fantasy team too, man. I need him to get it back in order here and get that running game clicking. And I think that'll help Joe Burrow. This game is kind of a bit of a toss-up for me because I'm not overlooking the quarterback position the way everyone else is. You know, they're looking at Cooper Rush like he's not going to be able to win against the Bengals here, defending AFC representatives. And I just think that Cincinnati was a little bit inflated last year, man. I think they were a little bit overhyped. You know, the record was good. They made it to the Super Bowl off a lot of things going their way. And we know in football, that has to happen. You know, that's just what it is, man. Cincinnati held Pittsburgh to 64 second-half yards in that game. So I think they kind of started to get it together defensively towards the end. Also, can't forget, Mitchell Trubisky, man, that dude looks like some straight garbage right now. And I had him as a fantasy sleeper, bro. He did not look good in that game. They had countless opportunities to put that game away, missed kicks, missed snaps, missed everything. And another thing you can't forget about is that the Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins, he's questionable after sustaining a concussion in the opener. Besides Dak Prescott, the Cowboys have 3 other players already ruled out in this game. Safety Curse injured his left knee against Tampa Bay. Left guard Connor McGovern sprained his right ankle on the first series in that game. And Terrell Basham, defensive end, has a thigh injury. We already know Michael Gallup has been out. He's probably going to be out in this game, but he does appear closer to a return. But it's looking like another week is what I'm hearing for him. But for me, this game is really a toss-up, man. What do you see in this one?
Well, I see that the only way that the Cowboys are going to win this game is if Micah becomes Lawrence Taylor and single-handedly wins the game defensively, or they put him on the offense. I mean, listen, the Cowboys looked horrid. They looked horrible. And then you talked about Joe Mixon. You want to talk about an opportunity for a bounce-back game. That's playing against this Dallas Cowboys run defense. They let Leonard Fournette run for, what was it, 6 point something yards per carry, 6 yards per carry. So that was the lowest yards per carry in a game in Joe Mixon's career. So I think that this is a perfect bounce back opportunity for Joe Mixon. I think the Bengals steamroll the Cowboys. It's not even close. Bengals win 28-10.
Ooh, okay. 28-10. I kind of want to go out on a limb here and pick the Cowboys.
This is what it sounded like the way you were going through that game just
You know what's good is that I do have another couple of days to make my final pick on this when I get to the parlay. I want to do a little bit more digging on this game. As of right now, I can't pick a backup quarterback to beat Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
His
I know
second
it is
career
at home.
start?
It's going to be his third career start, I think, right? Maybe
second career start.
Second career start,
game.
probably third career game. There you go. Yeah. You never know with those guys because they don't have tape on them, right? But I'm going to go Bengals as well. I think the game's going to be a little bit closer than what you're saying here, though. I'm going to go 27-21 Bengals. You like that?
That's gonna be interesting. Like, you're making me rethink how I'm thinking about the game, but we'll see. I just
think that the offensive line isses with the Bengals, man, it's going.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be improved.
Chase.
No,
they
you
are
can't.
Supposed to be improved.
You can only hope
made
to
some
contain
moves
them.
in the offseason. That is true, but both these teams definitely struggling up front, man. And I like the Cowboys front going against the Bengals offensive line more than I like it vice versa. So But I'm still going to pick the Bengals today. If Dak Prescott was here for this game, I'd pick the Cowboys for sure. But I'm going to go Bengals on this one. 27-21, and you picked 28-10?
10.
28-10. You got them scores written down. I know you're keeping statistics this year.
Yeah.
On our picks. All right, so speaking of you like that, let's go to this next game. The Vikings are going to be traveling to Philadelphia to take on Jalen Hurts, man. And newly acquired A.J. Brown, man. He's doing damage out there, man. Last week, the Eagles beat the Lions 38-35. The Vikings took care of the Packers, and I told y'all they would, man. The Vikings are my front runner to be the division winner over there. I know the Packers have won that division the last couple times. They held Aaron Rodgers to 0 touchdowns in this one, man. The Vikings have won the past 2 matchups with the Eagles. The previous victory came in the NFC Championship for the Eagles. It's the last time that they beat the Vikings in 2018. The Eagles had 4 different players get rushing touchdowns in their opener, man. That is really ridiculous. I'm going to tell you how ridiculous that is. The last time that happened was 1961 for the Eagles. Okay? So that's extremely ridiculous. We know the Eagles are going to have to get that running game going. I think you got to rely on the running game even a bit more in this one. Jalen Hurts had about 90 yards last game, and he was doing his thing, 333 total yards of offense. Yeah, I'm looking for more of that. But I want a cleaner game from the pocket from Jalen Hurts. I want him to prove to people that he can do this from the pocket. This is going to be a great matchup here. I like the Vikings this year. I like the Eagles this year. I think that these are both division front runners for sure. The Philadelphia Eagles allowed 181 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns to the Lions. So for me, I'd look for Dalvin Cook to do some things in this game. Last week, he was a little bit quiet. You know, he still had 20 carries, 90 yards, averaging 4.5 yards a clip. That is pretty good, but I expect that number to kind of rise a little bit here against the Philadelphia Eagles. The main matchup here, and it's really not a matchup, but it is like a duel between 2 of the best wide receivers in the game, I'd say. Justin Jefferson versus A.J. Brown, man. Both of them coming off of career-high games in week 1. A.J. Brown had 10 for 155, tying his career high, and Justin Jefferson had 9 catches for a career high, 184 yards, 2 touchdowns. You talked a lot about there was a little bit too much space for Justin Jefferson.
He was running wide open. Like to me, it's like it wasn't like he, was like making a catch over a double team or something like that, right? Like literally, like it. I felt like every time they showed it, it was just like him, like this little purple dot on a big green map, catching the ball and running away. Like it was so bad. And Green Bay's defense is supposed to be improved. It was just weird to me. But the Philadelphia Eagles defense is supposed to be improved also. They're gonna have to find a way to. If I'm the Vikings, I'm trying to run the ball until they stop it because, like you said, I mean the Eagles gave up the 5th most rushing yards to an opposing team in the first week of the season. So I think Dalvin Cook eats in this game. This is one of the toughest games of the entire slate this week for me to pick. I kind of been going back and forth. I want to see Jalen Hurts do something more passing also. And I think that what's going to be key to that is not only the tight end Goddard getting involved, but he's going to have to find a way to find the ball to Devonta Smith, because eventually what's going to happen is they're going to start keying in on A.J. Brown. You don't want to force the ball into double coverage. You don't want to, start having possibilities of turnovers because you keep going to A.J. Brown. You got to find a way to get other people involved. They know how to do it in the running game.
Man up. Like, on RPOs, you playing A.J. Brown man up? I mean, I know Jalen Hurts is a reason for that because you do kind of got to stack the box against Jalen Hurts, man. Like, he's going to kill you. And if you look at the I believe it was his only touchdown of the day, his rushing touchdown where they ran the RPO. The way he just, like, for one, they're on the goal line. They're like 2 yards away, right? Everyone is on the line. And he's reading that edge person like so well. He fakes the handoff till the last minute, and then he untucks the handoff and takes that for an easy walk-in touchdown, man. Like, I love what I'm seeing from the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think that it's important that you run the rock on them, like not only to try to give balance and time of possession, but you got to keep Jalen Hurts on the sidelines, man. I know I'm not scared of Jalen Hurts like I am a Tom Brady, right? But he is the kind of quarterback you got to keep on the sidelines because if the running game is clicking for the Eagles, they're just going to control and dominate the time of possession. That doesn't yield well for your offense.
No, in this game, I'm looking around because I was going to flip a coin live on air. I wrote down a score, but I didn't write down a winner. I'm gonna let you pick the score and winning team first.
I got you, and we're at 8:20 right now. Kickoff is about to happen between the Chargers and the Chiefs, man. So we definitely gonna get you up out of here as quick as we possibly can. I think, man, look, Cousins had a really good game last week. Quiet, too, 277 yards, 2 touchdowns against the Green Bay Packers. He was only sacked one time. They're going to have to get some pressure on him tonight. The Eagles are definitely, known to have a better defense. So I think they will find their way to the quarterback. And Hurts was sacked just one time against Detroit. So for me, it's like whoever gets to the quarterback more is going to win this game. Excuse me. Kirk Cousins he's really good at not getting sacked. I mean, outside of Tom Brady, one of those kind of quarterbacks that's like, a guy who's not really mobile, he does a good job of not getting sacked. And I just want to bring up one other good point here too, man. Let's not forget when we're critiquing Jalen Hurts, he's entering his 21st start on Sunday. He is a young boy. He wet behind the ears right now, and he's still balling out. The Lions tried to bring a ton of pressure last week, and it didn't work out. So I don't know what the Vikings are going to do. Maybe they just sit back, try to rush forward, and just accept that, hey, Jalen Hurts is going to have to try to find a way to pass against us. I don't know what they're going to do. But for me, the one major thing that's weighing me more towards the Philadelphia Eagles is Kirk Cousins under them lights. It's primetime, baby.
I totally forgot about it until you said his
Monday
name.
Night
Monday Night Kirk Cousins.
Right.
I already know who I'm picking now.
You already know how Kirk Cousins do Monday night. Now, Kirk Cousins has a career record of 60, 59, and 2. I think that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to go in here. They're going to take care of business, and Kirk Cousins is going to lead this game at exactly 500, which is the kind of quarterback I feel like he is. He's a 500 quarterback. Give me the Eagles in this one, and I think it is going to be a bit of a high-scoring game. I'm going 30-28 Eagles.
I got 28-27 Eagles.
I like it, man. All right, let's get to this next game. Make sure you write down those scores, man, so we can tally up, those wins and losses, and, you can see how many games you're going to be behind me at the end of the year and whatnot.
Oh, here we go.
All right, let's get to this next one. We got a mistake on the graphics department there, so we got to cut that one. It's the Chargers at the Chiefs tonight one time, and they're going to be kicking off any second now if they haven't already kicked off. Y'all don't play no games in the chat. Last week, somebody was playing games talking about Josh Allen already scored or something like that. I know it took a little while.
Awthentik was so bad.
Man, I was so heated because I got Josh Allen on my fantasy team, man, and that's not good, okay? Now, we already talked about Justin Herbert enough in this one. We're just going to make this a quick in-and-out pick for y'all. For me, I got to go with the Kansas City Chiefs in this game, bro. I just think Patrick Mahomes and that offense is going to be a little bit too much. I got a big fantasy issue going on here one time, which is Mecole Hardman tonight versus the Chargers or Hunter Renfrow on Sunday versus the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know who to start. I feel like the Chiefs are just going to go ape tonight with this offense. Patrick Mahomes like to show out in these primetime games. I'm picking the Chiefs in this one in a high-scoring game. Love Justin Herbert. I think he's going to be in that class with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes here probably by the end of this season if he isn't already in that class. I'm going with the Chiefs in this one, high-scoring. I'm going 34-20, Kansas City Chiefs.
Ooh, 2-touchdown victory. Listen, shout out to Khalil Mack. First game with the Chargers, 3 sacks. Tonight, I love Mike Williams and Josh Palmer to finally produce fantasy-wise because no Keenan Allen for Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert last week was his 9th game of at least 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. It's the most of any quarterback in their first 3 years. I'm going to go Los Angeles Chargers by a score of 28-24.
I like that. We're a little bit split on this one. All right, man. Any final thoughts on this episode, man? You going to change up anything when we get to Sunday Parlay 11 a.m.?
No, actually, I don't think I am. You gave me a little thought for concern, with the Dallas-Cincinnati game. Maybe it's a little bit closer, but as of right now, I feel pretty confident in my picks. I feel like I am going to make my comeback after a 1-game deficit from week 1 picks against Mr. Awthentik himself.
I like it, man. I like it. I'm super excited for this game tonight, and Sunday is going to be a great one. I didn't even get the times on these games. What time do y'all play at?
We're both at 1 o'clock tomorrow.
1 o'clock
Sunday.
games. So that red zone going to be popping bright and early, man. Y'all know what it is, man. Check us out Sunday morning, 11 a.m., the parlay. We're going to be breaking down every game, going to do our fast picks, give you some nuggets, give you some top wide receivers, quarterbacks, running backs, and tight ends. It's going to be a great show. Definitely pull up if you need any help with your fantasy. And I need y'all to pull up because I'm going to need some help with my fantasy. Y'all know what it is already. Awthentik and The Beard, man, left side.
Strong side.
Great show, brother. Great show. Some good nuggets today.
Congrats to Lax.
Congrats to Lax on winning that card one time, that Hakeem Nicks. I told the Beard, I said, man, you might have to keep that to the side for me. Bro, I want that. That card looks great, man. Appreciate everybody in the chat pulling up, man. We breached over like 70-something on this stream, man. That's
80.
awesome numbers. 80 for this show. That's amazing. So definitely check us out Sunday morning for the parlay. We'll be right back Monday for the Giant overreaction. I appreciate y'all pulling up for that one. That thing hit 1.1K already. That's love. Y'all know what it is, man, here at Awthentik and The Beard. Continue to raise that bar. Continue to live those dreams, man. Enjoy y'all football tonight. Everybody be good. The Beard, again, fantastic show, man. I appreciate you showing up with them nuggets and them roadmaps one time. We working on a nuggets and roadmap transition. Y'all stay tuned for that. It's going to be an amazing thing, all right? Enjoy this game tonight, man. Go Chiefs. Go Giants. Go Commanders. Y'all ain't playing us. Boo to them Chiefs. Boo to them Eagles and boo to them Cowboys. Y'all know what it is, man. Awthentik and The Beard. Left side.
Strong side.
All right, dogs.
Peace.
Y'all be good.